And we already know that my place value is going to stay the same when it's in unit form, okay? Unit form is numbers mixed with words, okay? So I know this is going to be tens, okay? What's 6 divided by 3?
2.
Okay, go ahead and write with me as we go. Now I'm going to change that to standard form. So what number is 6 tens?
60.
60 divided by 3 equals 2 tens. 20. Okay, let's go across and do this one. We know 6 divided by 3 is 2. What's my place value? Tenths. Okay, how do I write 6 tenths? 0.6. And how do I write 2 tenths?
0.2.
Okay, you want to try the rest of these on your own, and I am going to pause it while you do that. Okay, so table 1, what should I write here?
200.
200ths, and we kind of have an abbreviation for that, don't we? Right. How do I write 600ths?
0.06.
Okay.
0.02.
Okay, good. Let's go with table 5. What do I need to write here? That's you guys.
3,000.
So this is thousands without a TH, right? So how do I write 9,000s? Table 5?
9,000.
Right. And then 3,000s? Same way. Okay, so go back and fix that if you need to. All right. So how about table 4? Table 4. What do I need to write here? 300ths. So there's 3 girls at that table. All 3 of you can answer. How do I write 900ths?
0.9.
No.
No, wait. 9.
And how do I write 300ths?
3,300.
Okay. Table 2. Right here. What's my answer? 3 what?
300ths.
Good. Okay. And how am I going to write 900ths?
0.09.
Good. And 300ths?
0.03.
Good job, table 2. Have I asked table 6 anything yet? Okay, what do we got here, table 6? 3/10. And how do I write that in standard form?
0.9.
And good. Okay, table 3.
3 ones.
3 ones? And how do I write this problem?
9. 3.
Very good. Okay, you remember how to do this? Okay, the next one is also review. If you're not done, you can finish it later. We're moving on. I'm recording. I don't have time to wait. Okay, so this is changing it from unit form to standard forms. Okay, so 1/10 in standard form. That's pretty simple, isn't it? Let's go down and do some of these confusing ones. How about 90/10ths? Now, I have a strategy. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
Okay, if my answer is in the tenths place, there's going to be 1 digit behind the decimal. So the last digit I write will be in the tenths place. Okay, so Carter, did you think this answer was going to be 9?
Yep.
Okay, so he had it figured out. So I want you to try the tenths. And then the hundredths is going to be the same thing except for how many digits behind the decimal.
2.
Okay, so I'm going to help you with this last one. If I've got 2 digits behind the decimal, that means I've got 2 zeros. And what goes in front of it? A 2 and a 0. So what number is that? 20. Okay, give those a try. You can check your answers with mine, okay? Get busy. So you can check yours with mine, or maybe check to see if I do mine right when you're all done, okay? Okay, check your tenths and see if you did them right. Okay, so let's look at the hundredths. So 100 has 2 digits behind the decimal, right?
Yep.
And that's going to be the same all the way down to 10 hundredths. Now look at this. If you're struggling, okay, if I've got 2 digits behind the decimal, that's the 10. So what do I put in front of it? And what do I not need? The 0. Okay? So 10 hundredths is the same thing as 1/10. So that means this would be 2/10. What would this one be? All right? Now if I get to 100 hundredths, it's still the same thing. I got 2 digits behind the decimal. So it's going to be 0, 0, 1. So what number is that? 1. Okay? So if that's a 1, can you figure out what the rest of these are? Okay, I'm going to go back and fill this in. So that's a review of Module 1. And it's kind of a good time for a review of that, isn't it? I know. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. Now, if you didn't get all those written down, that's fine. You can go back and do it later, like during intervention time this afternoon, okay? So here's where you can totally use your ruler if you want to, okay? And we can use the ruler to divide this into 3 columns. And then, you know how your paper looks a little different than mine? Okay? So if you want to draw horizontal lines right above the next problem, you can. Okay? And you can make it look like a tic-tac-toe board. But get it done quickly so that we can move on and do some review. Okay, so let's talk about this. Now, first of all, we're not going to do any of this really. Okay? So you can cross that off. So I'm going to write the problem down. Start with that. Okay? If you haven't written the problem yet, you need to get moving on that. And I'm going to put a box around 65. Everybody with me? Let's see if I can make that better. There we go. That's a little too small. Can you guys even see the pink?
Yeah.
That's better. Okay, so now here's what I want to do. Okay, are you watching? I want to think of this 16 as another number. I can think of it as 20, or I could think of it as 15. Are you better at your 20s than you are your 15s?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go with a 20, all right? So how many times would 20 go into 65?
3.
3? But 16 is quite a bit smaller than 20, so should we try a 4?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's try a 4. So we're going to do 16 times 4. Everybody do it.
It's on the
Ooh, that's nice, isn't it?
Oh.
Okay, so now I'm going to circle some things, all right? I've got 2 numbers I'm putting on my division problem. There's a 4 and a 64. Everybody got that? Okay, so where should I put the 4, Jada?
On the 5.
Above which number? Okay, good. All right, and Serenity, where should I put the 64?
Under the 65.
Perfect. Okay, What's my next step, kids?
Subtract.
Subtract. Okay, and I've got a 1. Can I bring down my 0?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we did a problem like this yesterday.
We did.
Is 10 even large enough to divide 16 into? No. So there's a number we use when we can't divide. Finn, what is it?
0.
0. And then if I don't have any numbers left to bring down, whatever the number is at the bottom is my remainder.
And
Okay, shh. All right, so now that I've got that much done, I'm going to highlight, and I'm going to tell you some things I saw yesterday. I saw this, and I want you to tell me, don't write it, just tell me what I'm doing wrong here. Carter, what did I do wrong?
you multiplied
The divisor times the,
remainder.
and what am I supposed to multiply it by?
6 divided by
By the quotient, right? So do you guys remember, and it was in 4th grade that you might have started doing this, and we did a little bit at the beginning of 5th. We put a little multiplication sign right there.
Yeah.
Would that be enough to show me that I multiply these two together and then I add that one in? Okay, so highlight however you need to. I'm making circles because you're not going to be able to see my digits through there. And we're going to take 16 times 40, okay? There's a couple ways to do this. You could do 16 times 4, take the 0 off and put it back on, okay? Or you could do 16 times 40. And the easiest way to do this is just to write the 0 here, or even 2 zeros there. But if you do that, you're going to get pretty confused, aren't you? So what's a better choice?
16 times
The left one. Take the 0 off, then put it back on. So 6 times 4, what is it? 24. And 4 plus 2. Okay, now what do I do?
Add 10.
Add my remainder. Oops. I was accidentally multiplying. And did I start out with 650 here? Okay, so it's good. Not for you, right? Okay, next problem. Okay, so I'm not going to think about estimating. That's too much for little brains to think about. Let's write the problem. What is the problem? 740 divided by 32. And I'm going to start by putting a box around the 74. So you have that much done? So I'm going to think of 32 as what number? 30, okay? It's going to be easier to think of. So let me count here. 30, 60, 90. You think we need to try it too?
Yes.
So what do I take times 2? 32. So everybody do that. I know some of you would prefer to do it in your head, okay? But the reason I like to have it written down is because I might need that 2 again later. Then I won't have to think about it. Will this work?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got 2 things that are going on that division problem. All right? Alasia, where do I put the 2? On top of the 4. And Jocelyn, where do I put the 64? Under the 74. And when you subtract, what do you get? 10. Is 10 less than 32?
Yeah.
So bring down your 0. Now we have to think about this. 30, 60, 90. What should we try? A 3. So 32 times 3 How many of you already knew what it was? Yeah. Okay. So again, we've got a couple numbers here. All right. Melina, tell me where to write the 3. On top of the 0. And Millie, tell me where to write the 96. Below the 100. And tell me if this is right.
Or no.
No. What's wrong with it?
The 6 is supposed to be under the first.
Okay, the 6 is in the ones place, isn't it? So make sure you line them up correctly. Now, I'm not kidding you. There are some kids in 5th grade that would write this down. Not even think a thing about it and keep dividing. What's wrong with what I just did? But 6 minus 0 is 6, and 9 minus 0 is 9, and I can bring my 1 down. I didn't add, I subtracted. What did I do wrong, Finn?
You didn't care. You didn't break it down.
Sort of. Carter?
You didn't borrow from the.
I didn't borrow from the 100. Yeah, we didn't go next door. Now, you can totally cross all this off if you want, okay? But I'm going to look at the big picture. What's 100 minus 96? 4. Just think of it like that. Or count up. Start at 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, okay? So my remainder is 4. What should I write here to help me? Multiplication sign. And I'm going to highlight these and start multiplying. Oops. So I'm going to take 32 times 23, and that's turtle head. So don't forget your X's and O's. Okay, what do I need to do now?
+4.
Some of you are sitting back there just copying down my numbers. How is that helping you at all? How is that helping you do 5th grade math? Okay, so did I get 740?
Yep.
So my answer here is 23, remainder 4, and I totally forgot to write that on the last page, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. My answer was 40, remainder 10. Okay, one more review problem and then we'll be ready to start. So this is what we've got. 890 divided by 27. Where will I put my box?
89.
Around 89. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to think of 27 as what number?
30.
30. Okay. So I've got 30, 60, 90. So 2 would be the logical choice, but if I round it up to 30, do you think I could try a 3? Let's try a 3. So what am I going to take times 3?
27.
27. Everybody write it down, please. What'd you get?
84.
Okay, so I've got 2 numbers that need to go in that division problem. Put them in the right place.
right side.
Okay, so let's see what we've got here. 381, and that gives me 80. Can I use another 3? Are you sure?
No.
No, it'd be too big, wouldn't it?
So probably 2.
So probably a 2. I like the way you guys are starting to think this through. So do that problem.
Hey, that rhymed. Probably 2. I like the way you're thinking this through.
Okay, so that's 14. What do we got here? 54. Did you get 54 when you multiplied that?
Yeah.
I can tell by the smiles on your faces. Okay, so now, again, we've got 2 numbers that need to go in the division problem. Put them in the right place. And I know I'm breaking this way down, but I think it's going to help. Okay, so where do I put the 2? Above the 0. Where do I put the 54?
Underneath the 80.
And when you subtract, you're not going to get 34.
26.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so my remainder is,
26.
and I'm going to put that little multiplication sign there to remind me. Okay, and we're going to highlight in the shape of a triangle, and we're going to take 27 times 32. Turtle head. And I'm going to pause that while you do your turtle head. All right, so 7 times 2, 2 times 2, plus 1. Okay, X's, O, 7 times 3, 2 times 3, 7, 8, right?
Do we have to do it that way? Or no, never mind.
Okay, so now I've got 864. What do I do next?
Add 26.
Add 26. Notice I'm writing my remainder in a different color today. Kind of keep it separated. 6 plus 2 is 8, 1 more, 9. All right.
Oh, that's I got it. I did like a different thing. Like.
All right. So do you feel better about this than you did yesterday when we were struggling through an exit ticket? Me too. So let's look at this application problem. This is a good one. And it's going to seem pretty simple to you now. Turn the page or turn it over, whatever you need to do. Okay. The rectangular room measures 224 square feet. One side of the room is 14 feet long. What is the perimeter of the room? So I've underlined a couple things and I want you to do the same thing. And then I'm going to ask you a question. Do we have a formula for square feet?
Yeah.
Max?
Length times width.
Very good. So we've got length times width equals what, Max? Or class? Area. Okay? And even though this is a perimeter question, we still have to know that it's area, okay? Because we've got a missing side. And when you have a missing side, we can figure it out. So go ahead and do me a favor, draw yourself a rectangle. It doesn't have to be huge, but let's get this all written down. Okay? So what do we know? We know one side is 14 feet, right? What else do we know?
It's 224 feet long.
Actually, we got 224 square feet is the area. I should have put an equals beside that. So area equals. You with me? Okay, go ahead and write all that down. Okay. So, do I know how to figure this out? Do I?
Yes.
Here's what I know. I know the length is 14, and I know the area is 224, and I got to figure out this part right here. So how do I do it?
You 224 divided by 14.
You're going to have to divide. And this is going to be long division, isn't it? We can't do that in our head. So 224 divided by 14. And do you remember yesterday when I said there are times when we just should get started?
Yep.
And don't overthink things and just start dividing. This is one of those times. Right?
Yep.
So how many times will 14 go into 22? Write it down. 1 times 14 is 14. Now subtract. And this is, you have to go next door, don't you?
Yeah.
So if I go next door, what's my answer going to be? 8. All right. So now that I've got that done, is it okay to bring down my 4?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm thinking, gosh, could I think of this 14 as a 15? Because I know 15 times 2 is 30. So what would 15 times 4 be?
60.
60. And what would 15 times 6 be?
75.
30, 60, 90. So, do you think 6 is too big?
No.
Or do you want to try it?
Try.
Okay. So what are we going to take times 6?
14.
14. Well, would you look at that? We like it when that happens, don't we? Okay, I've got 2 numbers that need to go into this problem. Okay? Do you know where to put them?
No.
The 6 goes,
On top.
and that's nice. We have 0 remainder. Okay? Are we done with this problem? Nope. Nope. Now here's what we know. Okay? We know that this side right here is 16 feet long. Everybody write it down. That's what we know. Now, we have to figure out the perimeter of the room. Formula for perimeter. There's 2 of them. You could do length plus width times 2. Or you can do length plus width plus width. Any way you look at it, it's going to give you the distance around the outside. Okay? So, do I know how to add all this up?
Multiply.
No.
Add.
I have to add. What am I going to add?
224 plus 16.
Okay, you could add 14 plus 16 and take it times 2, right? So you could do 14 plus 16 and take it times 2. What else could you do? Do we know what this is? Do we know what this is? What else could you do?
Add.
I could add 16 plus 16 in my head. I already know what it is. What is it?
32.
32. And I could add 14 plus 14 in my head, and I already know what it is. What is it? 28. And I could add those 2 together, and I can figure out my perimeter. So go ahead and do the math and see what the perimeter is. And don't tell me. Don't shout it out. So, Max, what was 14 plus 16? Did you do that yet? 30. So I can do 30 times 2, right? Okay. Or I could add 32 plus 28. Either one, what am I going to get?
60.
60. And it's 60 feet, not 60 feet squared. Or 60 square feet because it's perimeter. And perimeter is the distance around the outside. Okay? Now I think that's a very good stopping point for this video. Okay? So I'm going to stop it here.